Are you in countdown mode? It's less than 12 days to Christmas. Are you on track with all the things you need to get done? Whether yes or no, the JIS is here to give you a helping hand by providing useful information. Hello, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thank you for joining me for another edition of Jamaica Magazine. As usual, we start the information flowing your way with the news.
You as parish managers, you as regional managers know your role to do your inventory now, to see what you have and to mobilize the country. Outreach with communities, outreach with civil societies, outreach with the churches. That is what we are going to do. We are going to call on every single Jamaican. Look around your house, search your environment. Find this mosquito.
Join the fight. Eliminate the Aedes aegypti mosquito. Stop the spread of dengue and chikungunya. And keep Jamaica Zika free.
Good day, I'm Lorraine Mendez, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, December 16. Health Minister Horace Daly is calling on the private sector to partner with the government as it continues to roll out its Zika virus preparedness and response plan. Minister Daly was speaking on Tuesday at the official launch of a program to train 1,000 young people to educate Jamaicans about the Zika virus and mosquito-borne diseases.
We need 1,000 clipboards for the workers in this program. We need 1,000 knapsacks for the 1,000 workers in this program. And I'm appealing to the private sector to come on board.
The first batch of 300 young people participated in a sensitization session on the Zika virus on Tuesday at the Jamaica Conference Center. They will receive a stipend for their work in communities in Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Thomas, and St. Catherine.
Go through communities and talk to people, try to educate them as best as possible to the threat of this virus.
The Zika virus is spread by the Aedes aegypti mosquito, which also transmits dengue and chikungunya. The Health Ministry is urging everyone to destroy mosquito breeding sites and prevent mosquito bites. 10 countries in the Americas, including one Caribbean country, have reported cases of the Zika virus. Another 3 public sector unions have accepted government's 7% wage offer. They are the United District Constables Association, the Jamaica Federation of Corrections, and the Senior Uniformed Officers Association. Under the 2015 to 2017 Heads of Agreement, they will receive a 4% increase in year 1 and 3% in year 2. The agreements also addressed welfare issues affecting correctional officers and cemented the decision to make the position of district constable pensionable. The National Security and Finance Ministers thanked the unions for their commitment to Jamaica's economic reform program.
We may have started off a little bit rockily early in the year, but I think good sense and commitment to the overall well-being of Jamaica has guided the negotiations as the year has gone on.
We will be spending more than we budgeted in coming to all of these, in all of these agreements, and we will have to make the adjustments to the budget as we go along.
Government has moved to strengthen the justice system by improving the capacity of the courts to deal with cases quickly and effectively. This as Public Building North, located at the Justice Square in downtown Kingston, has been officially handed over to the Supreme Court. The 4-story building, which had cost over $900 million to renovate, has 7 courtrooms, 9 judges' chambers, and 4 rooms for masters in chambers of the Supreme Court. The facility is also home to the Supreme Court Civil Registry and the Registry for Matrimonial Matters. At the recent handing over ceremony, Justice Minister Senator Mark Golding said it was part of a broader plan to rehabilitate courthouses across the island.
We are also trying to improve the efficiency of our courts through the use of information technology. The Ministry of Justice is in the process of conducting a review and developing an implementation plan for an upgraded web-based ICT platform.
The long-awaited sexual harassment bill has been tabled in Parliament. This will pave the way for victims to get recourse in a resident magistrate's court or a special division of the Industrial Disputes Tribunal.
The Act provides a legislative framework for addressing the issue of sexual harassment in Jamaica. Specifically, it outlines sexual harassment in the workplace, institutions and accommodations, and actions which can be taken by men and women against those whom such offences are committed.
The Minister responsible for Information, Senator Sandria Faulkner, was speaking at a recent Jamaica House media briefing. The sexual harassment bill was modelled from the CARICOM Model Bill on Sexual Harassment and takes into account cultural norms. And finally, Education Minister Reverend Ronald Thwaites is encouraging more young people to participate in the Registered Apprenticeship Program offered by the Heart Trust NTA. The program places youth within organizations to gain experience while earning a stipend.
Young people, how many times do you look at job advertisements which say they want a person with experience as well as certificate? Apprenticeship offers you that opportunity. I urge you to take advantage of it.
Minister Thwaites was speaking at the graduation ceremony for the Career Advancement Program CAP. 1,221 students from 55 institutions received certificates for completing a range of technical and vocational subjects. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Lorraine Mendez. Thanks for watching.
Finger-licking jerk chicken, Helcher fish and bami, with rundong, yam and banana, roast breadfruit, sweet potato pudding. Jamaica food sweet. So let's make a pledge to use more local produce and less foreign goods. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow.
At this time of year, Jamaicans look forward to delicious meals, especially those made from local provisions. For these bountiful blessings, we must thank our farmers, who through drought and flood are ensuring that we can enjoy produce coming from the farm to our tables.
I don't think about drought. I don't think I need to worry about drought anymore, because we have the basics in place to counteract any drought you might have.
I didn't have enough what we call trench to take off a lot of the water, but the RADA personnel, they came and they showed me what went wrong, and so I put in the drainage and so on, and so far it has been good.
In recent times, producers of farm crops have been affected by harsh, extended periods of dry weather conditions, even drought. Too often, the effect has been damage to crops and loss of income. On the flip side, these same farmers are sometimes forced to watch their crops wash away under the onslaught of heavy rains. To help farmers withstand these climate-related hazards, vulnerable farming communities were targeted to modify their approach to farming and adapt climate-smart best practice methods. The Ministry of Agriculture is leading this intervention through the Government of Jamaica Adaptation Fund program, the GOJ-AFP. With over $250 million in funding, farmers have been trained in climate-resilient methods and land conservation. Water harvesting and improved irrigation systems were also provided. So far, the program is finding huge success in the target parishes of St. Thomas, St. Mary, St. Anne, Trelawney, Manchester, St. Catherine, and Clarendon.
The need for a climate change adaptation program is really present with us, which is a clear and present need. We have to therefore build our resilience to the impact of climate change so that we can survive, we can become competitive, and we can establish and engage in sustainable agricultural enterprise to feed our country.
and these measures are continuing in the 2015-2016 fiscal year. $30 million in grant funding have been allocated for the establishment of rainwater harvesting and small-scale irrigation systems.
These include the rehabilitation of ponds, reservoirs, giving support to protected agriculture such as greenhouses and such like.
These should put farmers in a better position to produce during periods of droughts and maintain a continuous supply of produce all year round.
In the past, it was always difficult to get water to crops. We have the tanks, but you have to manually carry water to wherever on here to go water a plant. With the addition of this irrigation system, you can take the water to the plant. So it allows that freedom to plant a lot more, knowing the water is available.
As we said earlier, rainfall can be equally damaging to farm crops. So another key focus area of the GOJ Adaptation Fund program is water management. The Agriculture Ministry is getting support from the Planning Institute of Jamaica, the National Irrigation Commission, and the Rural Agricultural Development Authority. Together, they are providing farmers with training to install water catchment facilities, which will help to divert the flow of water to a central storage area for reuse. This should prevent soil erosion and loss of crops.
We also will be ramping up the land husbandry component, where we provide grants to a number of small farmers, helping them to implement climate-smart land husbandry best practices on their individual holdings.
For this, $44 million has been provided to secure seedlings and facilitate planting and soil management techniques this fiscal year. $8 million is also being used to support other soil erosion activities.
The overarching objective of these activities are, one, to build their resilience against the impact of climate change; two, to improve their livelihood, to help them to build a sustainable enterprise or sustainable farming activities where they can maintain themselves, their families. The feedback has been tremendous. It has been tremendous. We have seen where farmers are giving testimonials as to what the project has helped them to achieve.
It is this level of practical application that is enabling a climate-resilient agriculture sector, changing the mindset of farmers and building their capacity to produce, even in the face of adverse weather conditions.
The Petroleum Corporation of Jamaica is encouraging all Jamaicans to be more energy efficient this Christmas. This practice can save you well-needed cash to possibly purchase an extra gift or put towards your savings for the new year. The government has been implementing a number of energy conservation practices through which they have been able to limit spending on energy use. Learn a thing or two from the upcoming feature.
Since 2011, the government has set out to reduce its energy expenditure, and with a loan of $20 million from the Inter-American Development Bank, the Energy Efficiency and Conservation EEC program was activated. The program identified areas within the public sector that are to benefit from energy efficiency opportunities. Energy audits were carried out on several government buildings. The findings revealed savings of approximately $100 million if the recommended retrofits are undertaken. This covers the following areas:
retrofitting of air conditioning units, old and inefficient air conditioning units, the replacement of different types of lighting in the various office buildings, application of what's called solar control film to the windows, and the application of cool roof solutions to the roof of the various facilities.
As the work got off to a start, cool roof application and the tinting of windows were applied to several government buildings, including the Office of the Prime Minister, the National Housing Trust, and the Bureau of Standards Jamaica. The procedure is to significantly reduce the heat on the buildings.
Those sets of retrofits are continuing today. The solar control film, the majority of that was completed over a 10 to 12 month period. The cool roof was completed as well.
Having done the building envelope retrofits, the air conditioning needs would be considerably lower now that the buildings are much cooler. So the next step is assessing the current air conditioning configuration, and where there is inefficiency, corrective measures are taken.
The air conditioning retrofits, those have been progressing, and those continue to progress through to today. We started with the Jamaica Information Service. We also did work at KPH, Victoria Jubilee Hospital. We are still doing work at the Mobile Revenue Center in Montego Bay, and we are completing work at the Don Sangster building downtown.
In addition to replacing the units, part of the Energy Efficiency Conservation Program is the implementation of a management system that will automatically turn off or lower the temperature on air conditioning units when no one is occupying the room, and do the same for lights. The aim is to use cooling and lighting only where it is absolutely necessary. Serious about cutting its electricity bill significantly, the government also set out to address the need for more efficient lighting across government entities. With all these drastic changes, public sector workers were brought on board to promote the conservation of energy within their respective ministries and agencies.
In doing so, the government was able to design a program, along with the assistance of the IDB, to target not only the institutions themselves, but also the employees, to bring them on board and to have them trained in energy conservation methods, tips, and certain other things that the facilities managers could do, as well as the employees themselves could do. We actually have a public education campaign that we're now starting with the GIS. And that also involves not just public education, but also going into the various organizations and meeting with the staff, sharing with them some of the best practices, giving them some tips and so on, as to how they can also play a role in energy conservation.
Officers with responsibility for energy management were also trained in areas such as the importance of energy conservation to national development, the impact on the performance of government entities, and workers' role in managing government's energy assets and resources. These officers will now be able to evaluate their ministry or department's energy usage and effectively monitor and take the necessary corrective action.
The IDB, when it just started this program, said it was what they call a paradigm shift in the way government does business in Jamaica. And so we now have a cadre of people, cadre of personnel, cadre of professionals who have gone through the fire, so to speak, and know how that information, have that training, have that knowledge to be able to impart to the wider Caribbean, wider Jamaica.
The government, through the Energy Efficiency Conservation Program, is bent on making the public sector an energy-conscious model for the rest of the society.
And in terms of actual savings, measurable and verified savings, we have a cumulative of about 80 million Jamaican dollars in savings to date.
We are currently projecting to, at the end, be saving somewhere in the region of 175,000 barrels of oil for once the overall implementation, and we're talking about greenhouse gas emission savings of over 86,000 tons per year.
Nash. He has been here for about 6 months. He does general stock maintenance and ordering of the shelves. When he just started out, he was a bit shy and reserved, but over time he has become more outspoken, and he gets along well with his co-workers, and he does good work here.
It's a joy having Desmond here with us. I really appreciate NYS for sending him here. He has been a good worker. We had no problem with him. If somebody didn't say it, you didn't even know that he has a disability. Anywhere you sent him to work, he fits in himself, and we are very happy to have him.
My name is David Wickenham. I work at J&J Pharmacy on Barney Street.
Well, working with Davian, it has been a really great experience. Well, I'm an open-minded person, and when I heard that he was going to be here, I was like, if he's going to be reserved or outspoken, well, he's actually outspoken. If anything is needed to be done, we can call on Davian.
Thanks to the NYS for developing the empowerment program, for giving young people with disabilities a better chance in life, and I trust that they will continue this program.
Just to say, continue doing what you're doing, and God's richest blessing on the organization.
If you or someone you know has an intellectual disability, you can refer them to the National Youth Service, where our program fully caters to their personal and professional needs, where we will be sure to assist them in transitioning into the world of work.
The National Youth Service, empowering Jamaica's young people.
In our next feature, we take a look at how you can use the local foods we mentioned earlier in the show in tasteful and creative ways this Christmas.
Christmas is foodie paradise. The time when we look forward to our honey glazed ham, or sorrel juice, Christmas cake and pudding and all of that. But we need to ensure that everybody gets their fill at the Christmas table. We need to cater for those persons who are vegetarians or vegans, and for those with chronic illnesses. But how do we do that?
Look at the amount of salt that you're adding to your food. Look at the amount of sugar that you're adding to beverages and to meals as well. And look at the amount of fats that you're using in preparation. One of the things that I always tell persons is, you have a party later on, remember it's what you eat for the entire day that counts. We want you to exchange calories.
Things for you to note and to put into practice. Now, I recently learned how to prepare a raw vegan meal. Thank you. And I'm going to show you some of that a little later. And then right after that, you're going to Join me here and you will learn how to prepare a traditional vegetarian meal. All right? See you soon.
Today we are going to prepare 3 major entrees. We're going to prepare a basic salad with curried coconut pasta, and we're also going to have some Brazilian nut cheese pate, as well as we'll just touch on some plantain in coconut cream. Firstly, we want to have a source of moisture. Source of moisture could be lettuce, right? Excellent base for your salad. So we have just chopped up some lettuce here. And we want to season the lettuce by just adding some scallion, chopped scallion here. So about 1.5 tablespoons of chopped scallion. And then we follow that up with some chopped sweet pepper, which adds wonderful color to the salad. So I'm adding 2.5 tablespoons of chopped sweet pepper. And then I find also when you have like a source of excitement in your salad to stimulate it, ginger works very nicely as a spice. So just sprinkling a little bit of ginger in your salad here. And then we're just gonna turn it around. We take the medium meat of a jelly coconut, scoop it out carefully so that you're not breaking it into pieces, and then we just shave off the fibrous parts of the back, and then we can just take a slice and we can roll it just like this, and then after rolling it we want to just slice it thinly so we start to get these pasta-like strips. To turn it into curry, what we want to do is to add a little bit of curry powder, and the amount of curry you add is based on how curried you want it to be. Then we want to add a little bit of salt to the curry. And then we want to add a little bit of pepper, a half of a teaspoon into the mix. And then we want to add a little oil. So I'm just adding about a teaspoon and a half of coconut oil. And then I'll just simply mix it together. And as I mix it together, notice it's beginning to look like curry.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish.
So what we do, we use here 3/4 cups of Brazil nuts in our food processor with an S blade. And then we simply add 2 cloves of garlic. And then we add a little bit of salt, just a pinch of salt. We're making a cheese, so you do need that salt there. Now we want to just process it to the point where it's smooth but not clumpy. We want to get it fluffy, okay? And when you taste it, it should not be too crunchy either. Then this is our Brazilian nut cheese, which we will then place into a sliced tomato. So here we have husked out the gut of 2 tomatoes, and then we'll simply now fill them with the cheese to give you a Brazilian nut cheese pate.
Not even 1 cent to buy a little car. We dance and rock it to the ice box. We rub it and scrub it to the ice.
And then we just make some thin slices. And we are going to use a little bit of cinnamon powder to just add a little flavor to this plantain. Just a dash of cinnamon powder. And what we're going to do, we have just simply chopped up some dried coconut meat. We're going to place it into the juice extractor so that the cream from the coconut meat will just come out onto the plantain. The trash will come out at the other end. Now we want to do enough coconut so it really moisturizes the plantain. Okay, sort of like almost covers it with fresh, yummy coconut juice. Now just for artistry, place it at the 4 opposing points, thus completing our raw vegan salad, our main course.
This is good. So come in here.
Take your time, take your time.
Wow, can't talk. Too good. So come back later.
For energy conservation tips that you can use for Christmas and the New Year, check out the Petroleum Corporation of Jamaica's website. And of course, the JIS website is available all year round to keep you in the know. There are other ways to keep in touch with us through our YouTube, Facebook and Twitter pages. I'm Adrian Atkinson. On behalf of the dedicated production team here at the JIS, keep safe.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.